Welcome back, travel fans. I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides. This is Sunday story time or Sunday sofa time, and I'm actually here in a corner on the top deck, or on one of the top decks of the Norwegian Jade. I'm not at home. I'm not in front of a sofa. There was no place to do that. I tried to find a place, but it was either too loud, there are too many people in the cabin, it's too dark, and so I found this quiet corner. And I also did a sort of just a little talkie vlog from the second day of this cruise. And as I promised, I wanted to do story time from here on the ship. And this corner, that is the best place I could find. Excuse me. So I got kicked out of the corner I was standing in down below, and now I've gone up a deck and I'm standing in this corner. And it's very bright and I've started sneezing. So what am I going to talk about in this Sunday sofa time or Sunday story time? I wanted to talk about doing a micro cruise like the one we're on right now, just to catch you up. We flew from Hamburg to London Heathrow yesterday. So Hamburg to Brussels, and then Brussels to London Heathrow. While in London Heathrow, we had to spend so much time in the customs and immigration line that we missed our transfer bus from the airport to the port, which was kind of disappointing because it was non-refundable. We paid for it I think about 35 euros per person, and we could not refund that. So we lost that money. And then we had to take, well, we didn't have to, but we decided to take an Uber then from London Heathrow down to the port, which cost another about 35, 40 euros a person. So it ended up costing like twice as much. I can tell I'm really squinting just because behind me is this white wall and the sun is glaring off of it. But, oh well. Yeah, and then we ended up boarding the ship around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Of course, a little bit earlier would have been nicer. We would have just had more time on the ship, but 2 o'clock in the afternoon is not bad. We sailed away then later that night at 8 o'clock, which was yesterday. So what did we do yesterday? We managed to have 2 meals. So we got 2 meals in, and we went to see one of the headliners or the guest artist shows, a magic, sort of a dancey magic illusion show, and that was nice. And we got to have some drinks, and then we went to bed. So we did kind of have a nice full day on board yesterday, even though we only got, even though we boarded the ship at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then today, well, we ended up sleeping a little bit too long, which I think is a good thing. You know, when you're on like vacation, it's nice if you can sleep in, especially if in your real life you have to wake up really early every day. So we slept until about 9:30, shortly before 10 in the morning. But what we didn't realize is we crossed back over the time zone. So it was really, on the ship time, it was around 11. So we just barely made it to breakfast. We got to get one plate of things, and they were already clearing everything away. And that was a little bit disappointing, but I guess that's kind of our fault. Then today I did a little bit of work. I filmed the ship tour, and we got to, so we had like half of a breakfast. We had a full lunch. We've got access to everything there is to do on the ship today, all day long. And tonight we're going to be going to see the headliner show again, and to have dinner as well. So we got to do, you know, an entire sea day and could enjoy anything, you know, we wanted to do today on the ship. And tomorrow, it's over. So tomorrow morning we have to disembark, and we will be in our home city. So that's just a short little blurb of what was going on. And the reason I wanted to tell you that we did all that is just because I'm trying to think if I would recommend doing this, if I would do this again, like taking a cruise just for the weekend. And I think I would, but there is one thing that is important to consider, and that is the amount of stress and money that you will spend or use to do it compared to the value of it. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to make this like the least expensive cruise possible and to try to get the most out of it as I could. So we booked the least expensive inside cabin way down on deck 4, and we booked it without any other amenities, no drink package, no dining plan, no internet, nothing like that. And we booked relatively inexpensive flights from London, or from Hamburg to London. We tried to book an inexpensive transfer, and I told you about that, that didn't work out. But all in all, I think we're gonna probably be spending around 300 euros per person for this weekend getaway. And the thing I'm thinking is, I would love to do something like this again if it started and ended in Hamburg, in my city, so I didn't have to travel anywhere to do it. Of course, we're ending in Hamburg, which is a big plus, but the flight, like traveling from home to get to the ship, and just all those, you know, that stress involved. We had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to the airport. Then we had to transfer in Brussels. And of course, if we had missed that flight, then it would have gotten even more complicated. We didn't, but then we missed our bus. And, you know, that was all just sort of stressful. The getting to the ship was stressful. And, you know, it ended up being expensive, even though we booked relatively inexpensive flights. I just kind of wish that that part didn't exist. So if I had to, or if I could do it again, I would look for something that was maybe a little bit closer, that maybe I could just take like from Hamburg the train to, you know. But there are a lot of ships that start in Hamburg, but I just don't know if they do like a cruise to nowhere or these short, you know, like weekend cruises, because that's one of the big advantages of this itinerary, is that we didn't have to take like any extra days off of work. We did. We took Friday off, basically, but we just didn't go to work on Friday. So it was Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, we're back at home. And yeah, for me, I guess that's the biggest factor, is just the traveling. That was what the biggest detractor for me. That's why I wouldn't like immediately do this again next weekend. But if it was gonna be starting and leaving in Hamburg, then I would have no problem to do it again, because it is a fun way to spend a weekend. Just go on a ship for 2 nights. Of course, I think it's important what ship it's going to be on as well. You know, to spend 2 days on like the Harmony of the Seas or the Oasis of the Seas, one of these gigantic ships with so much to do. Of course, you're going to have a good time, but I think you might go a little bit crazy trying to see the whole ship, and you're going to be, you know, spending so much time getting from A to B that I think those ships are better for longer cruises or transatlantic cruises, you know, where you really have time to get to know the ship and to enjoy everything there is to do on it. And the Jade is a relatively small ship, quite compact, and so I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything, and I feel like from the things that are offered on the ship, I got to do everything that I really wanted to do. So that's kind of a plus. I would not recommend doing a transatlantic cruise on a ship like the Jade unless you really want to wind down, be forced to wind down and relax, because I think after 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 sea days after one another on this ship, then, you know, you're done. You've seen everything. You can only go to bingo so many times, you know what I mean? And so you're going to be forced to just, you know, wind down and read books and take naps and relax, which is, you know, that can be a really good thing. But I personally think if I was going to do a transatlantic cruise again, and I'm sure I will, it's going to have to be on a bigger ship and not on a ship like this. So, I don't know. Micro cruises, I would do it again, but with a couple conditions, I guess. This is a weird Sunday sofa time. It's a little bit different than the other ones I do, and like I said, it's kind of weird to be standing here in the corner, glaring into the bright sun. So I'm gonna cut it short here. Forgive me for not commenting on your comments, but I'll be doing that in next week's Sunday sofa time. From back at home, I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can give me a little tip over at patreon.com/veryunofficial. Like all these people over here, those are my VIPs, and I'm especially thankful for you guys as well. I'm gonna give you a secret word, and the secret word is golf because you can practice your golf swing right down here. Have you ever played golf on or off of a cruise ship? I know that's sort of like an old school cruise thing. I think that used to be able to hit golf balls off the back of the ship. Have you ever done that? If you have, write it in the comments below. See you guys.